We celebrate the 4th of July in many ways, a time to pause and reflect on the thoughts and deeds that led to the founding of our nation, a concept that has accelerated mankind to the doorstep of the new millennium. Free will, free thought, and the right to explore and shape our own destiny. Our children today are the ones who will lead the future. Tonight's show is a look inside Student Municipal Government Day. The Student Council and classmates of the Valley Middle School held this event on May 17th. Mayor Kendall and the Oakland Council led the students on tours of the town government. Join us now as OK TV Productions brings a present to our nation's birthday party, Student Government Day.
Nice to see you all. I want to tell you how pleased I am that you're going to have this very valuable learning experience. There's nothing as important that you will do in life as give of yourself to others. And one of the best services you can give is in government. People don't think about that necessarily as a way of a livelihood or a way of giving their talents. In the last few years, many unkind things have been said about the governmental structure. Maybe some of it is deserved, but not all of it. There are very fine people that work in government and do very, very important things, and they all get painted with one brush. When you say someone does something wrong somewhere, if it's a mayor, if it's a superintendent of schools, if it's a president, a secretary of state, or a senator, or a congressperson, it doesn't mean that everyone functions that way. There are some very honorable people. We're fortunate in this state of New Jersey to have two fine senators who represent you with a lot of integrity. So I want you to read all the time and find out about what government is like, because someday you're going to be pulling down a lever that says yes or no that'll make a difference on who may be standing up here as a mayor. And you have to give that a lot of thought. That's not an easy vote, because the responsibility that you're going to meet this morning, make this community a very attractive place and a place where people want to live. And they want to learn, and they want to work, and they want to bring their children. Someday, I don't want to scare you, but you're not going to be sitting there watching all this. You're going to be standing up here and dispensing things. You're going to be the leaders. In some fashion or another, you're going to take the torch and carry it and move it forward. I have no doubt that you have the abilities and the talents. I don't even question that. But a lot of life is in here. It's in the heart, and it's in here in the gut. You get a lot of gut feelings. Some of the best decisions, I'm sure, that your governmental leaders make, they think here, but they make the decision from here. Because sometimes it has the impact on some people's lives, and sometimes people don't know how to get the governmental structure to work. And good government goes out to people and says, here's how it works. So I share that for what it's worth. Now, Mayor, I'd like to tell you about the group here. We're always, always proud of our students. Always. They do lots of good things. I'm proud of you. I always have been, and I always will be. The Student Council, I think, Emily, they just, so you'd know, they adopted a school in Oklahoma City. It's the Roosevelt Middle School, and a dogwood tree is being planted on that school site of Roosevelt Middle School in memory of the children that lost their lives in Oklahoma City. So that was a leadership role. and I commend the students to you, and I thank you for being willing to give the time not only of yourself, but all of your departments in making this a real good experience for the kids. Okay, so thank you very much, and I know you'll have a good experience, so thank you very much.
Morning, group. Now that I'm wired up, we can get started. Hopefully we're going to get lucky. We're not going to get rained on today because we have a lot of things to show you. What we're going to show you today is how the town functions, the department and the people that make it function. And speaking of people, I have three gentlemen I'd like to introduce you to. Behind you, who just walked in, is our borough attorney, John McCambly. He keeps the borough out of trouble, out of court, best he can. We have Bob Hammer, our borough administrator, and Charles Smiley, our superintendent, Department of Public Works, which is the department that I am associated with from the council. Some of the things you're going to be doing today, most people don't see. You're going to go see inside the departments, what makes them work, the people who make them work. You're going to see people who volunteer, like the fire department, ambulance squad. When you go to these different places, don't be afraid to ask questions. Because I see on your list of questions for this evening, they're very interesting again. Along the line, especially like the one referring to Megan's Law, well, that's something you discuss with the chief of police to bring back to your group tonight. So we're going to get started real soon. Mayor has a few words to say. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to introduce Mayor Kendall and your mayor, Emily Burgess.
Okay, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Ready for a good day? Yeah. Well, as you know, one of your teachers, Sally Ann Pilser, is on our council. And what she's asked me to do today, because she's the coordinator for this event, is tell you a little bit about what the borough is, why we're here, and how we function. Okay. You think about it, people are willing to pay a lot of money in taxes to support a borough structure. And we perform certain services. And those services are necessary for our community to work. Who can tell me some of the services you think our borough performs? So we're going to get a little interactive here. What do you see the borough do? What services?
Like functions for county.
Okay, we have a public events group that has functions and all this type of thing. Had our first night, that type of thing. What other kinds of services? Yes? Okay. How about a little more specific in that? The building you're in, what building are we in? Okay, so we have a public safety function. Public safety takes care of all our police. It takes care of fire. It takes care of first aid. It takes care of emergency management. We have a juvenile conference, which is the police for younger adults. So the public safety thing is a service that the citizens in town have decided they want and are willing to pay taxes to get performed. And we do those services. What other kind of services do we have? You heard us introduce a gentleman from the Department of Public Works. What do you think our Department of Public Works does?
Well, it has all the electricity or water.
Okay. Okay, what other kind of things? How'd you get here this morning? Well, okay, what'd you walk? Did you walk on a sidewalk or a street or how'd? Okay. So our DPW does a lot of things. They do all our roads. They maintain all our roads in town. They maintain our storm drain system. So when it rains, the water's got to go somewhere. It goes in our storm drain system and comes out. Have anybody been down at our rec fields? Sure. They maintain all our rec fields. Somebody's got to maintain those and keep them in a usable state because that's a service we provide to the borough. One of the visits you're going to do today is go to a compost site. We take all the leaves and grass, and instead of putting them in a garbage dump, we take them up to our compost pile at the top of the hill on Skyline Drive. We turn it into compost and give it back to the citizens, so we recycle it and reuse it. I don't know how many trucks we do, but we must bring down 15 or so trucks a week of compost, and people take it and use it for plantings. So that's a service we provide to the people. You mentioned electricity. Well, Electricity we don't provide. That's a public utility that provides electricity. But we do supply all the water. We have a water system. We have wells. We have pipes throughout the system. So we supply the water through a system that's very, very expensive. In fact, we just went through what's called a master plan to understand our whole water system and upgrade it. And over the next 20 years, we're going to spend $9 million or so in upgrading and maintaining that water system so that we will always have the good water we have. What do you think of the water? You drink our water out of our taps. Do you like our water?
Yes.
Tastes pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's nice and cold when you turn it on. I think we have excellent water in town. We also have some small sewer systems in town. About 220 homes in town have a sewer system rather than a septic system. Also, twice a week, you hear these great big trucks come by your house. What do they pick up? Garbage. So somebody's got to pick up the garbage. So that's a service we maintain. So our DPW does all those services. And a certain amount of our taxes go to pay for that.
I hope not, because that would be scary, wouldn't it?
I'm gonna go up to the guy and say, put handcuffs on me.
Yeah?
Would you have my jacket over there, please?
We even have a photographer, yeah. My mouth was wide open all the time.
So that's just our walkie-talkie. We have a radio in our police cars also, but this we can take with us wherever we go. So if we go in the house, when we have to call headquarters, we can still contact headquarters and they can contact us. The other equipment that I have is my gun, which is a 9mm. It's a semi-automatic. It has 12 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So we have 13 rounds that we have right here in the weapon that are ready to go. And then also, on the back here, I have 2 more magazines. And these are each loaded again, like I said, with 12 rounds of ammunition. So that gives me like probably over 40 rounds of ammunition that I have available. So, and then I can always get more if I need it. Anybody here know much about guns or anything? You guys like guns? So you know a little bit about like what a 9mm is? Okay. What's another piece of equipment I should have?
Nightstick.
My nightstick's in the car, so I don't have that on me. But
Because it's daytime.
yeah, it's daytime. Here's my handcuffs. Sometimes we have specialized cuffs that we use, but each officer carries at least 1 pair of handcuffs. Some officers have another set of handcuffs in their briefcase in the car. But sometimes we use, if we have to arrest many different people, many suspects, we have plastic cuffs that we use. There's sometimes you see them, the telephone guys use them for tying weathers together, tying wires together. So we use those sometimes as cuffs, as temporary cuffs. So that's pretty much it. Uh-oh. I might have to spray you with that mace I was telling you about, right? That hurt. That was hitting my finger.
Yeah, but you know, it just like reflected off and just, you know, sort of.
Now you guys are gonna have to go home together and live at each other's, somebody's house there.
Wrong key.
What do we do if we
I
take
didn't have
these off?
pocket. Oh, shut
I
it.
don't want to show them
What's this?
that. Double lock?
No. How when they resist?
Pens in here is recorded and you can see in our desk area.
Leaving my big Shawshank Redemption, I start building a tunnel on the wall.
That was unreal.
That was the best movie.
What a great movie.
I didn't what movie?
Shawshank.
Shawshank. What's the Shawshank?
Shawshank Redemption.
Can we see when the comedians come together talking to each other?
Collector.
Right.
We're going to respond, and we're going to be there first. Well, we can help you until the first aid squad comes in, and they're going to bandage you up a little bit more or take you to the hospital if it requires that.
Steve, you take him for a ride?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. And let him hit the sirens and let him...
I'm very pleased to see the youngsters come down, have a real interest in what's going on in the community, to learn about our organization, the Oakland First Aid Squad. And hopefully we'll get some cadet members when they're old enough, which would be in 2 or 3 years. Our cadet group starts at the age of 16. They go through the same training that we do as senior members, and they're very, very helpful and very effective, and we use them extensively on our calls. If this is representative of the next generation coming up, I'm delighted.
Our water stays pure, all right, to make sure that nothing happens to our water system and to get the water to all the residents. All right, and Mr. Morgan is one of the people that makes sure that this happens. All right, so
Okay.
give him a little history or something.
Okay, this is a new facility to the borough of Oakland. It's called Number 5 Well Air Stripper. And what it does is, somewhere along the line, a contaminant has gotten into the groundwater, which is at about 110 feet down from where you're standing right now. In order to get rid of this contaminant, for you to be able to drink it, this unit is called an air stripper. I'll be showing that to you in a minute. And what that does is sends air into the water, and I would like to get to where we get the water. What pumps this water out of the ground is this well motor right here. On your sheet to the left, you'll see it's written in well motor. That's where we're at right now. It comes around, it comes up here. That water is then pumped through this piping up to the top of the air stripper. This is the unit is the air stripper. It's made of stainless steel. Inside this stripper, if you look at the paper with the spheres on it, that's what's inside this filters, little plastic balls.
Are they filled with anything?
They're 3.5-inch diameter round. Now they're just plastic with holes. If you can see, it's just hollow.
Like wiffle balls.
Exactly. And what that does is help strip off this chemical. And when this well house kicks on, the air motor, the blower motors have to come on first. So what I'll do is kick one on so you can hear it run. Okay. Now you're pumping air into that aluminum tank outside.
My name's Mike Kivett, and I thought it was very interesting to see the police department and the different cells and everything, and got to see what the different police department jobs were, and I've never been in there, and I like going in the ambulance, and we got free soda, so that was a kind of a treat, and I'm enjoying it so far. What are you writing about?
Hey, I'm Tom Rossi. I'm secretary of Oakland Student Council, and Government Day has been very fun-filled and learning. I've been on this last year too, and I think we had a couple of new stops. I think it's very understanding so how our town works and how it's being processed with all the main necessities. And I liked it a lot. It's fun. It's not just missing school. We're still learning, and it's good.
My name's Christian Russo, and I like the police department, and I like to see the police car, all the different functions inside it, and how it works. Thanks.
You are? I'm Emily Burgess, and I'm an 8th grader at Valley Middle School, and I'm president of Valley Middle School. And Student Government Day helped me learn how much work it takes to make one town just work.
I'm Lisa Kohler, and I'm homeroom rep, and I learned today how it takes a lot of work to keep all of our services in this town going.
My function as coordinator of Student Government Day at Valley Middle School started about 5 years ago, I believe. The purpose of Student Government Day is to expose those students who were elected to the Student Council to our town government, the way we work, why we do things. I think oftentimes kids have no idea, as a lot of adults probably don't. Why do we need a mayor and a council? who runs all of the departments that we need run. And the kids get a great overview during this day. We divide them into groups. We take them to several different locations in town. Police department, compost facility, our well that was contaminated back 4 or 5 years ago, and several other of the offices, administrative offices, the library. This afternoon we'll be going to the fire department. The kids love it. They just love that. They get to, excuse me, nice buzz. They get to take the hoses from the trucks and blow the sirens and squirt water at one another. And that's a great part of the day for them. But they do learn. They learn that the town doesn't run by itself, that we need all of these people to provide all the services that we do. Oh, I am being eaten by these.
This is the leaves and the grass that was picked up from your house. And they have it in rows. The reason they have it in rows is so that you can drive between it to turn it and run the equipment. There's equipment back over here. See, it has hooks on it. You drive down, it picks up the compost and drops it on the other side, so it automatically turns it. So the heat in there will keep regenerating and it'll decompose faster. Why is it smoking?
It's hot.
That's right. When things decompose, they generate heat. The heat is getting out now when it's coming around. And see how black it is? There's dampness in there. That's the moisture in there. Questions, kids?
What is that? It's like a... That our mechanics came up with. They made that for a screener. It has a motor on it, and it'll start, and it jumps up and down, and you take the bucket loader, you dump a load of dirt in the top, and it bounces. So only the small dirt can fit through the screen, and that'll be the screen topsoil.
My name is Brad Wardby, and I'm a homeroom representative for homeroom 307, and this is my first year doing this. It was pretty cool because I knew like a lot of people. I knew a lot of people from the town. It was very interesting because I knew basically a lot what was going on. So it was like real interesting because I didn't know like what was going on most of the time. So it was like pretty cool.
I'll go. Hi, my name is Stacey Giswaldo, and I learned a lot from this day, and I hope I have a nice experience like this next year.
I'm Craig Whitehead, and I'm in homeroom 309, and today we learned a lot in Student Government Day, and we learned more about Oakland, and I hope I can run next year and be on Student Council.
Hello, I'm Sean Delory, and I learned a lot about Oakland today. I learned about sewage treatment plants, and I hope to do this again next year.
Hi, my name's Dave Fascino, and I've learned a lot going on this Student Government Day, and I hope next year the students will learn as much as I did. Why, thank you.
My name is Dan McDonald. I'm also a homeroom rep, and I learned a lot from today, and I really liked it a lot. It's too bad I can't do it next year, though, because I'm going up to high school, so I really enjoyed it.
Hello, I'm Johanna Vanderbeck. I'm Student Council Advisor. I also teach social studies, and we thought that this would be a great day for our students to learn about their town government. We've had some excellent tours this morning. Right now we're at the firehouse, and the kids are having a ball on the fire engines.
I'm Mary Siebold, Student Council Advisor, and I think that the town officials and town council members have a real eye to the future of Oakland when they take time out from their jobs and day to spend with students to teach them about how a town is run. This is part of the leadership experience for Student Council, and we're just really pleased with the day. Thank you.
What's the best part of your day been?
The fire department, because it's been a hands-on experience and you get to move the thing.
Yeah. Girls got muscles, girls got brains, girls got 6 legs. We win the game.
This joint meeting of the Oakland Mayor and Council and the student body of Valley Middle School is called to order. Roll call, please. Here.
Councilman Burns. Here. Councilman Pilser. Here. Councilman Ford. Here. Councilman Jarrett. Here. Councilman Schwager. Here. Councilman Hughes. Here.
Emily Burgess. Here. Christy Clemens. Here. Tom Rossi. Here. Austin Wall.
Here.
Lisa Kohler. Here. Mike Graff. Here. Dave Cucino. Here. And Dan McDonald. Here.
Water, sewers, fire, first aid, Tom Rossi. DPW, education, Austin Wall. Finance, Lisa Kohler. Planning and zoning, Dan McDonald. Borough administrator, Peter Meta. Borough clerk, Al Schnackman. Attorney, Lauren Worcester. Treasurer and CFO, Susanna Henry. Department of Public Works, Jim McWilliams. Engineer, Jason Rivas. Police captain, Eric Anderson. Fire chief, Donnie Giordano. Recycling coordinator, Chris Mokiver. Captain, Oakland First Aid Squad, Brad Wadley.
Please stand for a moment of silence. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Law, duly announced and posted in the municipal building.
Whereas the Borough of Oakland seeks to help our young people learn about the structure and function of government. And whereas the Borough of Oakland values the development of leadership skills in its own town students. And whereas the Borough of Oakland believes in school-community partnerships which foster citizens not yet of voting age in the process of government. Therefore, let it be resolved by the governing body of the Borough of Oakland that Wednesday, May 17, 1995, is hereby designated as Student Government Day in the borough, and the borough calls upon the people of the community to join in the commitment of educating young people about the importance of participation in our representative form of government.
We have a motion to accept the resolution.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our Yes Club presentation. Judy Brahansky.
Hi, we're two members from the Yes Club. I'm Laura Kramer and this is Carolyn Philandro. We were going to present Mrs. Rose with a sweatshirt because she was a member from the Yes Club and helped out with all the cleanups from the very beginning. Since she's not here, we can't present it to her.
Wait, make sure she gets it.
Right.
Right. Do you want to tell the people what the Yes Club does?
Okay. The Yes Club does a lot. On Saturday, we're hosting a cleanup. Anybody's welcome to join. We clean up around Oakland to be split up into sweep teams. Recently, we went down to Trenton to accept two awards, one for working with ShopRite and one in a video contest of something that our 6th graders did.
And what does YES stand for?
YES stands for Youth Environment Seniors.
Next item on our agenda is the Oklahoma City Relief Fund. Mayor?
I would like to present Mr. Kazantzak, our superintendent, to speak with us about the Oklahoma Relief Fund.
Thank you very much, Acting Mayor. I should just quickly mention that not only did the students win the state award, but their advisor, Ms. Steers Bohansky, was the recipient of a state award this year. So we congratulate her. We were all seeking or searching for some way to reach out to these families in Oklahoma City. And I know we all shared with the grief, and sharing grief and thinking about it, and then trying to react sometimes may be very difficult. But we have adopted 4 schools in Oklahoma City. Valley Middle School has adopted the Roosevelt Middle School. High School, the Wheeler Elementary School, Dogwood Hill School, the John Adams Elementary School, and Manitou School, the Author School. The President of the United States planted a dogwood tree at the White House in memory of the children that lost their lives during that terrible tragedy. The shovel that was used for the planting of that tree was sent to Oklahoma City and is circulating around the city schools, and they are planting dogwood trees at the school sites. So Valley Middle School Student Council was our first school that got in contact, and they sent a letter, and a tree is being planted in memory of the children. They'll be sending a videotape, pictures and yearbooks and all kinds of different things so a pen pal relationship can develop between Valley Middle School and Roosevelt School and the other elementary schools. And it's just a small way of saying we care about people. And in Oakland, we always care. So thank you very much, Mayor. Thanks for taking the time with our students. It was a wonderful learning experience for them. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is our public session. Mayor?
I would like a motion to open to the public. Mayor.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is now open to the public for comment
Could I have the box, Mom? I'll put it in the box.
by the students. Recognize. Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Christian Russo, 67 North Sheffield Street, and I represent the Student Council of Valley Middle School. And can you please update us on what is happening to the campsite, Boy Scout campsite at Camp Tamarack?
Difficult question. Tomorrow night, the planning board meets. Camp Tamarack officials have been coming to the planning board meeting, giving us updates of status. As you might or might not know, approximately 2.5, 3 months ago, we approved, the DEP approved a remediation plan for testing. Those tests, we understand, are done. We understand we should get a report within a week or so. We hope Thursday night to get the exact date of that report. And when we get that report, we will make it public, we will analyze it, and talk about where the fill that has been put in there illegally will be moved to. The idea of the report is to find out where it should be moved, not if it should be moved. So that might answer your question. I'm sorry I had to answer that one for you.
Next. Yes, sir.
My name is J.K. Granberg, and I live at 49 Yossel Avenue, and I'm also representing Valley Middle School Student Council. And about Camp Tamarack, how can we prevent another incident like this one from ever happening again?
Okay. Would someone else in the council care to answer that one? I'll do it, but I just want to give an opportunity for... Well, basically, the only way you can prevent something from happening is really by diligence. I think the people that own property in Oakland are aware that we are very, very concerned about this project, and it's been very well known that we're concerned about it. And even though it was a Boy Scouts, we weren't willing to back off on getting the problem corrected. I think that fact alone will make it very difficult for people in the future to do something like that. We have some diligent citizens who spotted the trucks and reported it, and we need that kind of input. So our citizens are aware that something like that has happened. The best way to make sure it doesn't happen again is that awareness being put out in the public, and we are doing that in our meetings, and the diligence of our citizens to tell us when something like that happens so that our officials can get up there and investigate it. And we hope the combination of those two will not let this happen again.
Next. My name is Daisy Cadron, and I live at 32 Riverside Drive, and I'm also a representative of the Student Council. How will Oakland be affected by Megan's Law?
Okay. There's two parts that we're going to talk about that. I'm going to say a little bit, and then our captain from the police, who is just, what? And our counsel was going to say something. Our counsel will first explain a little bit what Megan's Law is and how it was enacted, and then our police will talk about the current status of it. How's that?
Well, being my co-counsel, Lauren, is a very good lawyer. She knows never to answer a question she doesn't know that is coming. So she will now tell you the status of Megan's Law.
Thank you.
Okay, Megan's Law has two parts. A released sex offender has to register with the local police when he moves into town. And the second, a released offender's address may, under certain circumstances, be made known to the public. And both parts of the law have been challenged in several lawsuits by former prisoners. To date, the registration provision has been upheld, and the public notification provision has been struck down in court. Our police department has been notified by the Bergen County prosecutor that his office will be doing the registration of the released offenders, pending the outcome of the court cases.
Thank you. We have also asked our police department, the administrator of that law in the county is a Bergen County prosecutor. We asked our police department if they check with the prosecutor and see what today's status is, because there was a hearing within the last few days. Captain, if you would update us on that, or have your attendant do that? Or you can stand with you.
Somewhat confusing to me, so I'm sure it'll be confusing to him. As the attorney has researched and found out, I found out basically the same information. The registration requirement is still there, and failure to register is a fourth-degree crime. But the problem is, how are we going to find out they move into town? Currently, if a sex offender, child molester moved into town today, and if the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office was notified about it, they can't even notify us. It's something that apparently was passed, the intent is good, but it was passed too quickly, emotionally. It was a tragedy what happened, and there was a lot of ramifications because of the way it was passed. There's going to be a lot of challenges, as there has been already. So currently what we've been told is that if on our own we find out somebody moved into town and they fail to register, okay, we can charge them with a fourth-degree crime. But how we're going to find out is going to be another question. We cannot make any notifications to the public at this juncture. That is awaiting a interpretation by the Supreme Court, higher courts in the state, as to exactly how this thing eventually will be administered. So right now we're in limbo.
Thank you, Captain. Sounds like a new law was enacted. It's being challenged by the courts, and the definition of that new law will be a result of these court cases. When we have it, obviously, we'll tell people what it is.
Next. Hi, I'm Melissa Schar. I live at 25 Bernard Drive, and I'm also here to represent the Student Council. And while towns in our area are struggling to maintain volunteer services, will we, Oakland, be able to continue the volunteer first aid squad and fire department?
Well, I sure hope so. Maybe I would ask Councilwoman Pilser, who is our liaison with both of those departments, to comment on that.
Hopefully we will be able to open the first aid squad and fire department for two reasons. That the volunteers are very dedicated, and it costs so much to pay a fire and police department.
Yes. Pardon? I'm sorry. Yeah, I was trying, this young lady over here was going to say something. Yeah. I didn't know if she was ready.
The borough has a policy to encourage employees to volunteer for the fire department and the first aid squad. And they have a release time for emergencies.
Okay. Captain, would you care to say anything about the first aid while you're here? You might mention a drive you're happy to be going through right now.
Right. May is our annual fund drive month. And as you know, we operate entirely off of donations. So any help from the townspeople is more than welcome, especially this year because we're in the process of putting an addition on the first aid building, which is needed to house the bigger ambulance, which we are currently purchasing, so that we can keep up with all the state mandates as far as the equipment we have to carry. So,
what does a new ambulance cost?
The new ambulance is going to cost us approximately $85,000.
And then to equip it?
To equip it, most of the equipment we already have.
Okay.
Just a question of now we'll have the space to put more of it in.
So you got a nice challenge in front of you. We wish you luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
So, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Burns?
I'd like to make a comment on that. I was talking to my compatriot here, Christy Clemens. I was mentioning to her that actually an organization like YES is the reason that we have volunteers. Because you get volunteers because it starts early. If you read many of the studies, volunteerism in this country is on its way down. You're getting less and less people involved. But as long as we have active groups, like in the school, that go out and volunteer their times to clean the streets and things like that, you will continue to get them into organizations like our First Aid Squad and the Volunteer Fire Department. As a matter of fact, I'm proud to say that my son, who is away at school now, was a member of the First Aid Squad. He went to EMT training and was able to participate in the First Aid Squad for a couple of years before he left the school. And I'm also proud to mention that my daughter, at the present time, who is going to Indian Hills High School, is in the process of going through EMT training. And I believe that somewhere around the middle of June, she will hopefully be certified. I think, from what I understand, she's getting good grades and doing well. And she hopes to be doing some volunteer work with the First Aid Squad also. But it didn't start with the families. That's part of it. I volunteered many times during my life. I was a member of the Rotary Club and other organizations like that where you give of your time. But it's because of people like Judy that get people started early. You instill it in people, and as they get older, they carry that on. If you don't start it young, you're not going to get it later on.
I'm Sean DeLaurie. I live at 79 Calumet Avenue, and I too represent Valley Middle School Student Council. And at Valley Middle School, we are making a commitment to improve our town through our 8th grade community service program. How can we, as your teenagers, improve our town?
Tough question. It's my understanding you currently have a project doing, 10 hours a year? I understand from Councilwoman Pilser that you have a couple current projects you're doing. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the current projects.
One of the 8th graders, will you speak up as to what you're doing? Emily?
Emily?
What you're doing. Some of my 8th graders up there.
Who would like to tell us one of the current community projects the school are doing?
Well, we have a school group called Pride, which stands for People Respecting Individual Differences in Everyone, and that has lots to do with community service. And we also have, like, food drives and clothes drives, and we did Toys for Tots during the holidays, and we also helped out in various other areas.
Thank you. Does work doing YES projects qualify for some of the 10 hours? I encourage any of the students who are looking for projects to get more involved with YES. Excellent organization. The projects they've done around town are fine. I also know that I think we talked to the school about doing some service programs with the seniors in our town. Having the seniors and the kids do some joint projects. And I know you've been talking about that. Don't know how that's moved, but I encourage you to move in that direction. Does any of our other council members have any other projects they might like to suggest?
I understand there's a development at Mr. Kingsley's property where they will be building houses, and I don't understand why it can't just be open for the town. Can I go to the park?
Okay, there is a development, and it's called River Bend. In fact, we got a notice. You might have seen the Borough newspaper just recently. There was a large article in there about the Mr. Kingsley's passing. The Riverbend property has been changed to Kingsley Estates, will be the new title for that property, we understand. About 7 or 8 years ago, there were very strong affordable housing suits in the state of New Jersey. During that time, we came to a court settlement on that piece of property to develop approximately 394 homes on there. The Borough of Oakland has been very, very aggressive in doing Green Acres projects to save land. Approximately 25 years ago, the Borough of Oakland worked with Wanacue, Ringwood, and Oakland and preserved 2,100 acres, which the borough now still owns part of it on top of the hill, and it's in our Green Acre inventory and cannot be used for anything other than open land. About 4 years ago or 5 years ago, we worked with the state of New Jersey and got a $3 million Green Acres grant to buy additional land up in there. And the main purpose of that was to buy the development rights of the Boy Scout camps. So the Boy Scout camps could never be developed, and that money would help them build those camps. We've been very fortunate in convincing the County of Bergen to take over that loan, and they will buy that property, and the county will pay back the loan. So right now, I think the Borough of Oakland has in the neighborhood of almost 20% of its property, which is in Green Acres. The specific property you asked about has not been up for sale at a price that could be purchased by the borough. It's my understanding it's somewhere between the $14 to $16 million property, and it's not something we thought we could burden the taxpayers of Oakland with when we currently have about 20% of the borough and Green Acres land right now. So, sorry I couldn't give you a more positive answer. Next. How about some impromptu questions? You told us those questions ahead of time. How about when you didn't tell us ahead of time? Come on, you must have a question. I sat next to you all day on the bus today. Come on, you had lots of questions on the bus? Well, this gentleman is from the country of Japan, and he spent about 15 to 20 minutes explaining to me how the government in Japan worked, and it was very, very interesting. And I would venture to guess he probably knows as much, if not more, about how government functions than most of the people around here. So it's encouraging to see people come into our country, be educated, and I think his objective, he said, was to be able to go to Harvard, so he's got a rather nice objective. We have anything else? I have. Yes.
We've been wondering, we would like a hangout where we as kids can hang out, because we get kicked out of most places.
Kicked out of most places?
Or we get ignored by adults.
Well, we have aggressively supported the teen canteen, and that, of course, is not more than certain times. We've aggressively tried to encourage that during the half days that you have off, because we know that that's been a problem. We've encouraged it more on weekends, and we will continue to do that. We have looked long-term at trying to do something long-term, but we have not found a real good answer for that. The ideal solution is a teen center in town for our kids, and that is something we would dearly like to do. Unfortunately, right now, we have not been able to combine the right assets and the right opportunity to move in that direction. But I hope it is something we can do in the future. I doubt if it would be done while you're still a teen, though. Any other questions? Okay, I just have one more. I think our working with the Valley Middle School has been very, very informative. Some of our council members who went with the students today said the kids asked more questions and more intelligent questions than has ever happened before, and it took a lot longer to get through. So something's going right. The kids are inquisitive, they're bright, they're energetic. You know, they're kids still, so sometimes maybe a little too energetic. But it was an excellent day, and I think as far as the mayor and council and the people who participated, we had an excellent day. And just as a token of our appreciation, we have a borough seal for our mayor. Emily Burgess, mayor, May 17, 1995. Look to the future, Mayor J. Peter Kendall. So from one mayor to another, thank you for participating. Yes, and there are other people who participated in this event today, and Mrs. Pilser, if you would please introduce them, I would appreciate it.
I would like to thank Mr. Kay, our superintendent, Jim Mulcahy, Ed Van Beck, and Jim Mulcahy as our board members. Dr. R. Heflick, our Valley Middle School principal. Mrs. Joanne Vanderbeck and Mrs. Mary Siebold, our supervisors. And thank all the people in the borough for giving us their time today. It was a great learning experience.
Mr. Torrey, I believe you had something to say?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I've been doing this ever since I've been on the council, and I enjoyed it immensely. But I've got to tell you, as I told the mayor, I've got to tell you people, this is probably the finest group I have ever taken around. Usually, before the day ends, I'm looking for other things to do other than what I'm scheduled to take them to. Today, I ran out of time. They got so involved, asked so many questions at each place that we stopped. We just could not get to do everything that I wanted to show. So I thank you for your cooperation, and let's keep on doing this.
I move to adjourn for 15 minutes.
I accept the resolution. A motion. Same motion. So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Meeting is adjourned for 15 minutes.
This year, 1995, has brought many new challenges to our nation. The social, political, and economic changes of today will affect the outlook of our children's future. The students of Valley Middle School seem ready for the task of accepting responsible leadership while still enjoying the pleasures of growing up in the beautiful and precious place we call our home. The producers would like to thank all the municipal agencies of Oakland for allowing us to show them hard at work and teaching our children. In a land of, by, and for the people, we encourage all citizens to become more aware and involved, to make a real difference. For the Oaklander, I'm Kelly Enright. Help make tomorrow a better day.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.